Hello, all you wonderful Rise of Kingdoms players out there. This is Dragothien here, and today we're going to do another Commander Battle Card series. We're going to be comparing two very strong, epic commanders. Osman the First, our favorite Turkish Sultan, and Diaochan. Well, I guess Ottoman Sultan. And Diaochan, I have no idea if she's even real. But here we go. Okay, so these two commanders are very strong epic commanders. I've usually only done legendaries on the commander battle card. However, these guys are so good and so usable for all levels of the game. I wanted to do a commander battle card for these two because they're very similar, but they've got some very distinct differences, and I'm going to go over those with you with these 5 criteria: damage, survivability, versatility, still good, and that's currently in February 2021. And should they be used as a primary first or secondary second? So let's go ahead and jump right in. I'm going to go ahead and go over the first one, damage, and I'm going to explain why I gave the check mark to where I did. So first off, Osman is actually going to come out on top very minimally, very minimally by the skin of his teeth. So long as you're using 2 commanders per army, which should always be the case. There should never be a situation in this game where you'd only have 1 commander in an army. Reason being, so here's the breakdown, and these are both based off of expertise commanders, okay? Because both of these commanders have enhancements to their skill damage on their expertise. So Osman, his primary skill, 1100 direct damage factor, but his third skill gives 400 direct damage factor per skill cast. That stacks up with not only his skill damage that he casts, but also the primary skill damage, or the primary skill that goes off. So say you've got Osman paired with Charles. You'll see Charles cast his shield. You'll see a 400 direct damage factor go off. Then you'll see Osman cast his first skill, which is 1100 damage factor, and then another 400. So that's a total of every skill turn, every skill session, every 10 seconds roughly. That gives you basically 1900 direct damage factor, okay, which is very good. That's better than some legendaries, folks. That's pretty substantial. Epic commander causing massive damage. Osman is the way to go. Now, Diaochan, her damage isn't bad either. It's pretty substantial. Once you've got her maxed out, she does 4 turns of 400 direct damage factor, totaling 1600 direct damage factor. Again, better than quite a few legendary commanders that you've got to spend a lot of sculptures into to get to that point. So she does very well as well. Osman just edges her out by just a little bit. But if you need an epic high damage dealing commander inside one of your armies, Osman and Diaochan both work really well, but Osman just edges Diaochan out from a damage perspective. Now, let's go to survivability. This one was a little hard to do because they both have survivability skills. Osman's got an enhanced troop capacity bonus of 10%, which, again, if you've got no army expansions, that's basically 21, well, it depends on what your VIP level is, but 20 or 21,000 more troops you're bringing to the battlefield. And if you've got a 50% army expansion on with all of that, now you're cooking. Now you're talking 30,000 plus troops coming. So that's something to take into account from a survivability standpoint. An extra 30,000 troops is nothing to sneeze at. However, I'm giving Diaochan the benefit of the doubt because she has a heal on her 4th skill, and it does have a 5-second cooldown, but it fires every single round of skills that go off. And it's pretty substantial. It's a 500 healing factor, or direct damage factor, or direct factor, I should say. Damage factor, whatever they call it. I wish they would separate them out, one for heals and one for damage, but I think that might be just asking a bit too much. However, the mechanic's the same. The strength of the heal is determined by the damage factor of the skill. So, on average, from what I've seen, she heals for about 1800, 1900 on an army with no expansions whatsoever. And every single turn, I mean, not every turn, every single skill rotation, That's firing off. Now, if you've paired that with, obviously, a Richard, it starts to stack up, right? If you pair it with a defensive commander that's got medicinal supplies on the talent tree, it starts to stack up, right? You've got other commanders like Freddy who've got heals. You've got Double C with heal. I mean, there's just so many things that you can do with these two commanders. But Diaochan, survivability-wise, if it's a battle for the long term, you're going to get more troops back, in my opinion, with the heal than you do with just the flat 30,000 or 20,000 from Osman that you get from the troop capacity bonus. Now, it's probably 50-50, but I give the leeway to Diaochan with the heal, because the heal just keeps going and going and going and going. Whereas as you fight with Osman, that troop capacity bonus benefit just keeps getting smaller and smaller. So I think the Diaochan survivability checkmark is accurate. That's the way I would do it. Now, versatility, meaning do these commanders have enough usage capability to be usable in more than just one situation? Like, are they just for rallies? Are they just for open field? Are they just for KVK? Are they just for ARC? Are they for the heavy spender only? Are they for free to play only? And the answer is they're both very versatile. They're both going to get a check mark here. These are two of the most versatile commanders in the game, specifically when it comes to just epics in general, and just using these guys on the battlefield in any situation. If you don't have a lot of high-end legendary commanders from a damage standpoint, these two commanders are very strong. I've used Osman up until currently. I pair him with Minna, with the latent power talent on the skill tree. It works really well. The pairing is insane. You have additional skill damage coming from the third skill. You've got tons of extra skill damage coming from Minna as well. They're both little mini Fredericks to a certain degree. Osman has the troop capacity bonus portion of Frederick, and Diaochan has the heal portion of Frederick. It's pretty substantial. I'm very impressed with these two epic commanders from a damage perspective. These guys work really well as damage components, like adding damage to a pairing. These two commanders work really well. Now, are they still good? I just kind of went into how much I love them. So this should come as no surprise, as a double yes. So both of these guys, and I'll move my head a little bit, both of these guys are very, very good. And again, once you've got a bunch of top tier legendaries, so like, you got your Nebuchadnezzars, your Cyruses, your Ramses, your YSG, your Harold, Guan. Once you have all those all over the place, then you're going to start to replace these epic commanders. However, you've got 5 armies, guys, and these can definitely be used inside of those army pairings to provide a massive amount of damage and survivability for your armies. You can pair these up with legendary commanders, and you won't be able to tell too much of a difference from a performance standpoint how these guys do. And with that being said, to finalize how we should go ahead and get this set up, should they be primary or should they be secondary? And I think you guys know the answer to this question if you've been a long-time follower of this channel, because they're both non-troop specific type of commanders. One has the leadership skill tree. I think the other one has the integration or versatility. I'm not 100%. I think it's integration, which is a nightmare of a talent tree. Diaochan, I think, has integration, peacekeeping, and support, which just not good. You don't want that on the front lines from a KVK PvP standpoint. Like, you want to have a troop type specific. So I'm going to go with second on both of these guys, and I'll go ahead and move my camera just a smidge so you guys can see it. So there you go. So you can see both as secondary, and again, the reason being, these guys really shine as just augments to an army that just pump out damage and add some more survivability. Obviously, Osman with the troop capacity bonus and Diaochan with the heal. Very, very strong. They both have some stat bonuses. I like Diaochan's general stat bonuses versus Osman's conquering specific stat bonuses. But other than that, I mean, these guys are both really usable. You can put these behind a skill damage commander primary or a Charles primary. Augmenting the 30% skill damage on these guys is not bad, guys. It's really not bad. For Epic, in this game, you can't miss. You can't go wrong with these two commanders. on the battlefield. You can use these as a mid, low, no spender and be very strong on the field as long as your tech is good. And that's always what you should be working on, is your war tech. So, that being said, I hope this has been very helpful for you guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. As always, I love these Commander Battle card videos, but I hope you've enjoyed them as well. I'll see you guys next time. Cheers. Have a good one. Take care.